So there I am, driving on the roads of Bangalore, following every rule, minding my business, and then some idiot comes at me from the wrong side of the road and blocks my way. I stop my car. I don't yell or honk. I just don't move because I refuse to give space to someone breaking the rules. And what follows is the perfect example of this malaise that has spread through our cities. The people around me, the ones on the right side of the road, start violently honking and cursing. Not at him, at me. They scream at me to move because, according to their twisted logic, I am in their way. And eventually, my resolve breaks and I have to move. I give way to this grinning jackass because now it's me versus the crowd. And the crowd always wins. It's just another day in urban India. I'm almost 40 years old now, and as the years have gone by, I've watched India transform from a country just figuring it out, just starting to find its feet, into this massive machine, one of the largest economies in the world. Yes, we have our problems and some persistent, frustrating issues. And yes, we're still figuring it out. But there's no doubt that we've come a long, long way since the turn of the century. So, despite what social media tells you and despite all the rage bait, we've truly made something of this place. And we need to give ourselves some credit. But I don't think a lot of people see that. Because when I look at urban India today, especially the privileged folk, I see a mass of stressed out, anxious, almost defeated people. I see a citizenry that has truly given up. And if you live in any city in India today, you probably know what I'm talking about. No matter what strata of society you come from or how much money you make, the only thing that connects us is this endless, almost fatalistic misery. We'll blame the politicians, the bureaucracy, the infrastructure, and everything else we can. And while all of those are valid complaints, let's be painfully honest here. We are, quite frankly, terrible citizens. So, this little monologue is not about civic sense because enough people have already spoken about that. What I want to talk about is this deeper sense of cynicism that has crept into our collective consciousness. It's because while physically we are all present here, we've mentally checked out from our surroundings. Millennials and Gen Z have completely surpassed the wildest financial dreams of previous generations. We have the gated apartments, the senior job titles, the luxury SUVs, the fancy vacations. We have it all. But we are treating that success, that money, like an escape hatch. If I buy a bigger car, I won't feel the potholes. If I move to a prime location, I won't see the poverty. And if I just get that golden visa, I can get out of this country entirely. We're all just trying to buy our way out of this mess. And we love playing victims of a broken system. And yes, there's a very good argument to be made for that. But look at how we behave the moment we step outside our homes. We have no respect for basic rules and even less respect for each other. I started this video talking about wrong side drivers. And the people I refer to aren't rowdies or goons. These are parents with kids triple seat on a bike, expensive SUVs, autos and cabs, school buses of elite institutions, and even policemen. So this is not about education or class. This is a shameless abandonment of basic order. We are so spineless and ethically bankrupt that we will actively punish the person standing up to the rule breaker just so that we can save a few seconds. The same is true of the pedestrians who don't push back against bikers on a footpath or of passengers in autos and cabs that are flagrantly breaking rules, driving dangerously. Even online, if someone speaks out against a political party, the supporters pile on as if their personal honor has been sullied, instead of acknowledging the actual issues being brought up. And the tragedy is that we have accepted this behavior. So the problem isn't just the person breaking the rule. The real problem is the rest of the people empowering this behavior. We claim that we want change, but we don't want to do the bare minimum to bring about this change. And people justify this mindset in many ways. A common complaint I hear is that in India, the public has no power. But this is provably untrue. So while farmers and workers and auto drivers will come together for a cause, it's us, the tax-paying privileged citizens who don't want to be bothered by all this. So ask yourself honestly, do you know who your local representative is, especially if you're living in a city you weren't born in? Do you know that many cities haven't had municipal elections for years? Do you know which government office you can go to in case of a specific issue? Where this government office is? If you don't, who's going to listen to you outside of your echo chamber? At this point, you're just screaming into the void and complaining about the silence. I've lived in multiple cities in my life, experiencing each one of them in a different way. They all have something about them that makes them unique. But when it comes to problems, real ground level problems faced by you and me, they are exactly the same. Unruly traffic, broken infrastructure, rising cost of living, bad air quality, and on and on and on. And this holds true no matter what part of India you're in. So, this is the question I find asking myself. Why are we like this? And what's the solution? Many people have tried to come up with explanations, but personally, I think it's because we are suffering from some kind of cultural identity crisis and existential confusion, if you will. Because traditionally, India has always been a community first country. And let's be honest, that came with a lot of baggage. There was the log kya kahenge trauma, the lack of boundaries, and a lot of forced obligations. But despite all that, people stuck together. You inherently belong to something larger than yourself, whether you liked it or not. But as our generation grew up, got wealthier, and became more exposed to Western ideals and philosophy, we overcompensated. In our desperation to escape the suffocation and judgment of that traditional society, we imported the most ruthless version of Western capitalism. Me, my money, my convenience, at all costs. We bought our gated apartments and rolled up our tinted windows on our fancy cars, and in that process, completely isolated ourselves from everyone else. We successfully escaped the nosy neighbors, but ended up destroying our community, which is why people in India are so lonely in the cities. I think we need to bring back that community driven aspect of India, but something that makes sense today. A community that doesn't gossip about what the neighbors are doing, but actually comes together as a unit when the system fails us and holds everyone accountable. The community we need has to be an amalgamation of Eastern values and Western ambition. Yes, build your wealth. Yes, enjoy luxuries. But bring back that sense of community, that thing inside you that makes you Indian. That would be a successful society. But right now, in this weird transition phase, we have become selfish, individualistic people. We want all the rights and privileges of a first world democracy with absolutely none of the responsibilities towards the larger collective. Everyone wants to keep their mouth shut because no one wants trouble. There's this attitude of, why should I do it? I pay taxes, so everything else should be done by others. But now, we've reached a tipping point in our cities where it's becoming almost unlivable even as a well-to-do person. We are past the point of staying quiet, and we are certainly past the point of just blaming politicians. Because you can vote in another party and another set of politicians, and they will continue to do the same. You know why? Because they know they can. Who's going to stop them? Not the educated class with any degree of influence, because these people have stopped giving a damn a long time ago. And not the underprivileged people, because they are getting their freebies. So we continue to fight each other as the politicians laugh their way into power. I've spent a large part of my adult life like everyone else, pointing fingers at authorities while ignoring my own complicity in this chaos. But if we don't start looking in the mirror now, our entire identity is going to be swallowed and hijacked by this toxic every man for himself culture. People talk a lot about numbers to define success. GDP, per capita income, education percentages, and so on. And these are great. But my number for success is the most Indian and the most simple. 0. The day 0 wrong side drivers are given space because people push back. The day 0 people litter in public because multiple bystanders call them out. The day 0 politicians act like kings and are forced to work because of the fear of the crowd. The day 0 people make our civic problems someone else's because we collectively have decided that these are issues that we need to solve. That is when I'll know my country is healing. and that we are realizing our true potential. But here's the painful truth about that zero metric: you can't hit it alone. Trying to survive in this country as an isolated, righteous individual is just going to burn you out. To beat a bad crowd, you need a better crowd. And here's the thing: we don't need a revolution to make this happen. We don't need to get out on the streets and protest. We just need an evolution of our citizenry where we slowly all start coming together to improve things around us. I know it will take time and patience, but with persistence, I truly believe this can be done. This is exactly why I'm starting this Indian Evolution Initiative. I'm attempting to learn and then share knowledge about the things we can do as responsible citizens. Simple playbooks and guides on how to navigate and push back against local systems without losing your mind, plus stories of people who are already doing it successfully. You can check out the links in the description below for more information. Whether you like it or not, we are here. And it doesn't look like we are going anywhere. So let's make the best of it, not out of some sense of grandiosity, but because we are running out of options. So let's build the right crowd. Because in the end, the crowd always wins. I'm Gautam, and I want to play my part in making our country a better place. I hope you'll join me. I'll see you in the next one.